Hey guys, I hope everybody is doing well. It's Mr. Belk. Wanted to make a short video today about infinite series. So we're kind of getting close to the end of this chapter about sequences and series. And this chapter's been a little bit strange with a bunch of different formulas and a bunch of different vocabulary words. We're going to add just a little bit to that today. And tomorrow also, we're going to start talking about infinite series today. And we'll finish talking about them tomorrow. And if you see a football field on the side of the screen, we will get to that here in a second. But first of all, I want to talk about what an infinite series is, and then talk about the two kinds of infinite series that you can run into. First of all, what an infinite series is it is adding up a list of numbers forever and ever with no end, which doesn't sound very eventful, okay? And the reason for that is that a lot of them are going to be what's called divergent series. And go back just a little bit. So a sequence, just to review for a second, a sequence is a list of numbers. That's all that a sequence is. When we've been talking about sequences that have patterns, arithmetic and geometric sequences, and a series is just adding up that list of numbers. So there's numbers, and then there's some sort of pattern to those numbers, and then a series is just adding those numbers up. So an infinite series is doing that forever with no end. What we have been talking about so far are finite series, which just means that we're going to add up the first 13 terms of this series, or something along those lines, or 20 or 30 or however big, however many of them you want to add up. But at some point with what we've been doing so far, the series will end. For today, the series will not end. Okay, which let's talk about the first kind of infinite series now. There are only two categories. First kind is called divergent series. A divergent series is a series that will never converge to a single number, which I'm sure you guys are thinking, and I've got some examples down here. Of course, if you keep adding numbers together, that that series will keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. For example, if you take the sum of all of the whole numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do that on forever and ever and ever, that's never going to converge to a single number. Technically, you'll get infinity when you do that, and then you'll get infinity again, and then you add another bigger number to it, and it's just never going to converge to a single number. It'll just keep getting bigger, okay? And I say keep getting larger. I guess technically, if we talk about negative numbers, it could also be smaller. So it's going to keep getting bigger or smaller. For example, the next example that I've got down here, let's say we start it with number 1, and this is another arithmetic series where I need to have pluses or minuses in between those technically. But let's say you take 1, you add 0 to it, then you add -1, -2, -3, -4. Well, that's going to come out and give you negative infinity. I guess technically the smallest possible number that you could get. Okay, so that's what a divergent series is, and a lot of the series that we've been talking about, if you add them up forever and ever out to infinity, if you could ever get there, you would do this forever. It's not going to converge to a single number, obviously. So let's talk about just for a second. There are some kinds of series that are called convergent series that would converge to a single number. Okay, or I guess technically it would get. Let me underline an important thing going on here. It would get very, very close, and ignore my red lines here. Okay, bad grammar, but it would get very, very, very close to a number. For example, let's look at this one right here. Oh, I don't want to cover that up. Let's look at that one right there. So let's say you start with the number 1, and this is a geometric series. And again, if you imagine adding these things up, you start with 1, and you add a half, and you add a fourth, and you add an eighth. That number will get a little bit bigger, but eventually you'll be adding 1 over 1,000, 1 over 1,000,000, 1 over 1,000,000,000, and that number is going to be so small that it won't change the whole sum. Okay, and kind of an example, if you talk about the football field for just a second, kind of the example that people use a lot about this is you can talk about like penalties in a football game or something. So let's say your team is here, on the 2-yard line, and the defense gets a penalty. Okay, so what they would do, if you're this close to the goal, it's not going to be 5 yards or 10 yards or whatever, like it usually maybe. It's going to be half the distance to the goal. So if you start at the 2-yard line, half the distance to the goal is going to be the 1-yard line, and then if they say theoretically they keep getting penalties over and over again forever, the distance would become so small that you would technically be in the end zone. So they get a penalty, you're on the half-yard line, and I wouldn't be able to keep drawing what's going on because it's so small. But eventually, the distance would be so small that the line of scrimmage or the football would basically start in the end zone. It would be in the end zone, even though that would probably never happen in a real game. That's an example of what's going on here with these series. With these convergent series is that we're adding numbers up over and over and over again until they converge to a number, because you're adding 1/1 billion to it and it's not making the sum any bigger. And then two things, just as a note about that, it will only converge if it is getting smaller, obviously. So the next number needs to be getting smaller, and not smaller as being negative. I don't mean that as being less than, but it has to be like a smaller number as a fraction that's less than 1. And then the other thing we can talk about is this will only happen when it's a geometric series where your common ratio is a fraction. And what I mean by a fraction is that it's between -1 and 0, or between 0 and 1. And because obviously you don't want your common ratio to be 0, because then all of your numbers would be 0 except for the first one. But I want to show you guys a few examples. So maybe it's hard to wrap your brain around that. But we're going to talk more about it tomorrow too. There's actually a formula. So I have this question mark here. So what does this actually add up to equal? Well, that's a good question. There's actually a formula that you can use to figure out what it converges to. It's actually a known number, and that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. But for today, what I want to talk about is just how you tell whether something is divergent or convergent. So if we scroll down, I've got a couple examples here. I've got some sigma notation also. You got to love sigma. And let's start with this first one. So this first one, we got 1 plus 3/4 plus 9/16 plus 27/64. All you need to do when you're looking at these series is you want to go look at R and see if R is a fraction that's less than 1. So for here, and sometimes it's hard to figure out what your R is. If the first term is 1, it's easy to figure out because your next term will be R. But if you didn't know that, you can always take what you can do always with a geometric series. You can take the second term, 3/4, and divide by the first term. So divide by the first term, that's 1. And when you do 3/4 divided by 1, you get 3/4. And then if you look at our rule here, so is 3/4 less than 1? Yes, the last time I checked. So what that means is this series will converge. So in the end, this series will converge. Maybe I'll do best to abbreviate. This series will converge to a number, whereas let's go look at this next one. So 1 plus 5 plus 25 plus 125. What's our R value there? So our R value there is 5. And again, the last time I checked, this series, or 5 was bigger than 1, so that means that this series will diverge. And I'll abbreviate that. Okay, so let's go down here and look at some sigma notation options also. So when you're dealing with sigma notation, all you want to do is look at the number that is up underneath the exponent and say, hey, because that's your common ratio, or that's R in sigma. And you know it's an infinite sum. Talking about this because if you understand the basics of sigma notation, from 1, this is saying add up the terms from 1 to infinity. Okay, and we'll actually talk about how you can kind of do that on your calculator tomorrow. But R is the number that's up underneath the exponent, so this is 2, so that 2 is bigger than 1, so this would diverge. And then let's talk about 2 more down here that are fractions. This first one, 3/4. So what is your N? What is your R? R is under your exponent, and then you just want to look and see whether that's bigger than or less than 1. 3/4 is less than 1. So this series will converge. And then let's go look at the last one. The last one's going to try to trick you just a little bit. So it's 5/4. That's your R. You can see that under the exponent. And then you might want to go, hey, 5/4 is a fraction. Fractions are smaller than 1. But don't let that trick you. This is an improper fraction, and 5/4 is actually bigger than 1. So what this means is this is going to diverge. So when you are doing this, you don't even need to write out any of the terms. You don't even need to calculate anything, at least for today. All you need to do is tell me whether it converges or diverges. So even if you guess, you got a 50% shot. Okay, but don't guess. You should be knowledgeable now. I hope this helps you guys.